I'm Sarah. I'll probably get the giggles doing this, but anyway. So I grew up in a Christian family, and when I was very young, I remember I actually stole something, and then when I was asked about it, I lied. And that night I was feeling overwhelmed with this guilt. So I went and spoke to my mum about it. And she explained to me that when we do things our own way, and we lie and steal and cheat and use bad language, all of those things, the Bible calls that sin. And the only way we can actually be forgiven for that and free from it is through Jesus. So she explained all this to me. She explained that when Jesus died on the cross, he actually took the punishment for our sin so that we don't have to have that punishment. Well, I liked the sound of that. And so she talked me through how you can actually ask Jesus to become the boss of your life, or the Bible calls it Lord of your life, and then he will take away all of that sin and give you forgiveness. So I did that, and prayed and asked Jesus to become the boss of my life. And then for a few more years after that, I carried on life as children do, and then got to about the age of 11, and I started to hear God's voice, and I could hear him speaking to me about the everyday things in life. And I'd say probably about the age of 11, he became like my best friend, and I talked to him about absolutely everything, like my closest friend. And then carried on through my teens, got married. I'd been married about 2 years and got pregnant with our first baby. It was a little boy. Just before he was about to be born, he died. So he was actually stillborn, which is the hugest shock of, the most horrible thing I could ever imagine experiencing. And then exactly 7 days after that, my brother, who was 16 months younger than me, was killed as a result of a car accident in South Africa. That was the worst Christmas ever. And I was faced then with the huge question of, how do I view God in the light of all of this? I had this subconscious understanding, I think, that nothing bad would ever really happen to me because I belonged to God and because I trusted him and he was in charge of my life, so therefore everything was going to be fine. But clearly that wasn't the case for me, because of these shocking deaths that left us absolutely devastated. So then it was a question of saying, well, is the Bible true? Is God good? Is he good all the time? Because that was my understanding of what the Bible said. And it was a question of, do I trust him or do I throw it all away? And then when I looked into more about how the Bible does talk about life, it doesn't actually promise us that we'll have an easy life and that nothing will ever go wrong and we'll have a trouble-free life. What it does promise, however, is that we can have peace and that we can actually have friendship with God and a joy that goes beyond our experience and beyond what's happening right now. It's more than just a feeling thing, it's a very deep joy, a very real experience. And the other thing the Bible promises is hope. And when you look at society today, there's very little hope around. So my conclusion was, even with our baby Timothy having died and my brother Simon, that actually I didn't have anything else that offered the things that God offers and that the Bible offers in that. And I decided to trust him. And I think ever since then my life has been a constant learning process of learning to live life more and more in his presence, in God's presence, feeling him nearby and listening to him, what he has to say about the details, about the nitty-gritty things of life. He has things to say on all of those things. And now my life is all about waiting for his return. I can't wait for him to come back. The Bible says that Jesus will come back one day, and it actually says that we can hasten or hurry up his return if we live lives that are pleasing to God, which really excites me, because I think, well, that's what I want my life to be about, and I can't wait for him to come back. And when Jesus does come back, the Bible says we're going to all be held account for how we live our lives, and I think it's just an exciting prospect. I'm also excited that I'll get to see again those who've died already and are already experiencing eternity in heaven. I just think it's the most exciting thing ever. There you go. I don't know what else to say.